Yeah, if you tuned in for the title thinking I was going to talk about the NFL deal, frankly, I don't watch NFL. Deflate Gate. And what I'm referring to is the penalties levied on Richard Childress Racing, number 31 car, Brian Newman, crew chief, and some others suspended. And I'll include a link to the article, but I'll be quite honest about it. Unless they're doing something crazy with the wheels, or if they're running the illegal bleeder valves, which, if you don't know what a bleeder valve is, and some drivers, and even I think one of the commentators, I think DW, but don't quote me on that, have called for legalizing them. Um, Many short track cars run them. I've seen cars with them on there. You set it at the optimum tire pressure that you want, and the tire stays that way. It lets air out of the tires, because racing tires, and I have crewed many race cars over the year handling tires. In fact, when we were on bias ply tires on a street stock that I was crewing on and doing the tire pressure, we were running 10 pounds in the left side, especially the left front. In fact, they'd pull up, our pit wasn't that far from the pit shack. Our driver would pull up there, they'd holler, "You got a flat?" I'd go over, I'd check it. They didn't even dumb me like I was letting a little air out of it and say thanks, it had too much air in it. But that's neither here nor there. There were rumors that when Harvick was there 2 years ago, 2 seasons ago, they were laser drilling the wheels to let air out of the tires. Now, I don't know if they were doing it. If they were doing that, then they deserve the penalty. Richard Childress obviously does not agree with the penalty. I have respect for Richard Childress. I was a long-time Big E fan during the era he drove for Richard Childress, and of course migrated over to Junior after his tragic passing. But bleeder valves have good and bad notions. I would not be opposed to bleeder valves on the flat tracks, Martinsville, New Hampshire, Phoenix, but I know of one case where a bleeder valve come apart. This was a short track race. As a matter of fact, it was the World Figure 8 Championship in Indianapolis. The man was leading the race by almost a lap, just kind of riding behind the second place car. They had had a serious wreck, and he had went in during red flag and put tires on, which you're allowed to do that in that type racing. He put tires on. Well, one of his bleeder valves come apart. He finished second after he pitted for a tire. The difference in first and second, it was a 30th anniversary race, was $25,000. $30,000 to win, $5,000 for second. Probably if he'd stayed on his old tires, he'd probably been all right. But who knows? But I have a problem with bleeder valves. Let's say one would come apart. I watched the Track Pass Race View on NASCAR, and for instance at Kansas, I was looking at 203 mile an hour going down in turn 1. I don't think you want a bleeder valve coming apart and a tire going down at those speeds. Michigan, I think it's higher. Atlanta, it's high. It's over 200. And even Talladega with the restrictions with the draft. I mean, you have enough big ones at Daytona or Talladega. You don't need any more. Again, disclaimer, strictly my opinion for what it's worth, but I'm not judging NASCAR. I wish they would be more transparent in what they were doing, what they alleged that the Childress team was doing to the cars, doing to the tires. But it's odd to me that Childress runs 3 Cup cars, a couple of Xfinity Series cars, but you don't hear anything about it in that. And frankly, what gets me is the Childress cars are not running that good. So, who knows? I understand they takes Harvick's tires every week and they can't find nothing. Maybe it seemed like they'd give up.